Welcome back, everybody. Let's have a look at XRP then, shall we? And it's kind of a bit of the same old story, but at the same time there's things going on with Bitcoin at this very moment which could be a bit of a make, or not technically break, but pull back kind of situation. So we'll have a look at Bitcoin before we look at anything else. So if you've watched this channel before, especially over the last couple of weeks, you'll be aware that we've been following this trend line that's been it's about 3 years long, and it's got many supports and rejections throughout its history, and we have broken up above it clearly and went massive, and we've come back all the way down to test it and broken down beneath it and been rejected and broken up above it and broke down. So it doesn't mean that it holds us down. It wasn't the same as this trend line which we've been stuck beneath this entire time. This is different. This is a trend line that makes and breaks all the time, but it's actually very important because of the significance of how long it is and how many times it's been used for both supports and resistances. So what we've been noticing recently is that over the last week, apart from this giant wick, which I'd say is a bit of a FOMO liquidation wick, because there'll be more than me that looks at this trend line. A lot of people will see the same thing, and this is why I like to treat trend lines after they've been closed above or below. So unless we close above it or below it, I'm not going to get too excited. And because it's a very long trend line, so I'm talking over 3 years, it's going to not be entirely spot on accurate to the penny. It's going to be rough, but it's going to be more or less of a certain price area. So we got a close above on this occasion here, but again, this is why I stress that it's a rough trend line. It exists, it's real, it's been used many times, but the exact to the penny it's not that clear. So we had a little close above it here, and then we had a giant wick, a liquidation wick from top to bottom. If you see this, if you were long, if you were short, you might have been hurt, especially if you were playing with large leverage, which I would never suggest doing. So anyway, this one was a bit of a strange one, and it got liquidated both ends, and then excuse me, then we came to ride essentially on the 10 simple, which is always a bullish sign, because it's, first of all, it's moving up, it's steep, it's not bearish, and we're generally more or less respecting it and staying above it. Now we're going to get sandwiched between the 10 simple and the trend line itself, and you can see that actually today we have been sandwiched between the two. We've got rejections on both ends, a support here and a rejection here, and we're looking to close what looks like in between. So when you have a situation like this, it's good trading opportunity not to just pick a side, say I think we are bullish or I think we are bearish. I can't say that we're either, but what I can say is that because the trading range is so small, so let's just go from wick to wick, we've got a trading range of 2.5%. So in cryptocurrency world, that's not much at all. That's pretty small. We could trade this both ends. We could look at a trade similar to the way that we traded this one. I was looking for a rejection on this because historically we've been rejected on it. So I didn't want anything specifically, but I was on the wrong end of this. But because the trading opportunity was so good, I did say, and I said in my video, you go back in time, you can have a look. I said this is a perfect trading opportunity. This is what, it's a win-win situation. If we're rejected from here and I'm automatically short, then I basically have my stop loss just above the trend line, and then I go long from it, which is what happened. So again, it's a win-win situation. You don't need to have a stop loss of a large amount. You don't have to say I'm willing to hold on to this for X amount. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I can flip that position, which is what I did, and basically ride up that giant stick, which is what happened here. So again, we're in a similar situation here. So a close beneath the 10 simple could potentially be bearish, and so you'd want to go short. A close above here could potentially be bullish, and so you don't have to have a giant stop loss either way. But we do have to be aware of what's been going on recently with these super wicks. So there's other people looking to play this, people with more power than you or me. So you do have to be aware of that. So again, we do have to be careful with using our stop losses and always be prepared to lose some in order to gain some. So that is the deal with Bitcoin, and in all fairness, looking at the chart, looking at everything here, it does look like it could possibly push this and break and go above 12,000. Now it is the weekend, and a lot of the time I don't like to trade over the weekend, but as far as this is going, I do like the look of it up to 12,000 and beyond. We had a bit one of those liquidators yesterday. So the reason for that, again, a similar situation. We broke above this. We didn't close above it. We came back down, and we kind of, I suppose you could say, supported on the 10 simple. And so we closed beneath this trend, and there was wicks at both ends. So again, playing it safe, but I would go, thinking that this is likely to go up. So I think we're bullish for the very short term on here, and if I am right, then 12,000 could break and we could make our way up to 12,500 or more, probably quite quickly, if we broke and closed above this trend line on what I would be comfortable saying on a daily. So we'll see how we go with that. But again, it's the weekend, it's not normal trading, and we do have that CME gap right down here. But as far as the chart's concerned, it doesn't look that bearish to me. Let's go to a smaller time frame to see how that's faring up. And on the smaller time frame, we do have a negative cross back here, but in bullish territory, and I think we might be looking to recover from that. But again, we're still closing beneath that trend line. We're waiting to break that trend line for it to make the big move. Where does this leave XRP? Similar kind of ball game. So on the 4 hourly, we had our golden cross here, so that's a good sign. Not 4 hourly, daily. So we've got our golden cross here, so that's a good sign. We're waiting for this to play out, and at the moment it kind of is playing out. We're having our 10 simple, 21, 50, 200. So what we really want now is for this purple to be above that white, and also this yellow to be above the white too. That would then at that point be a perfect spread, and I'd expect long-term continuation for that until we show short-term weaknesses, which we're not going to get at the moment. We will have negative crosses on the MACD from back here on the 4 hourly, but we don't have any actual negative crosses on moving averages. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm bullish until proven otherwise. So what we saw on these wicks, we saw this wick break down here onto the 10 simple and then back up again. What we had yesterday broke down beneath the 10 simple but closed above it, and again we're on the 10 simple again. So all of these time frames that we're looking at, the short term time frame, we want it to cool down, and that's fine. It's going to allow our RSIs to come back down a little further. I would say that there's more to be had with all of these. I would not be surprised if we found an XRP launching up towards 34 cent, where I would certainly say that would be its top for the moment, because that coincides with its top back here where we tested it 3 days in a row and couldn't get any higher. So 34 cent, I'd be surprised if we break that with XRP, and if we did, I would certainly look at closing it and waiting to see what happens, because it would be pretty high at that point. The other thing I'm looking for is on the Bitcoin pairing with XRP. When it finally loads up, we can have a look at that. Let's just refresh that page. Might have a bit of a slow internet at the moment. So just to get this one out of the way, it's not, there's nothing special going on here at the moment, but there could be something special happening shortly at some point. So what we see is a different looking chart to that of the daily here. So we have a much more bullish looking chart when we're looking at XRP on Tether, less bullish but still pretty good on Satoshis. When it comes to the moving averages, you can see that these are all higgledy-piggledy all over the place, not quite ready to prove to us that it's going to be making significant moves against Bitcoin. Bitcoin could rally and leave XRP behind and make this chart look a little worse than it already does, which is not a very nice looking chart in all fairness. But in the event that XRP can cause a rally or stay at this kind of Sats level, it would allow for a golden cross to be created on the daily chart for Satoshi pairings. That would be what I said on my previous video, a nice bullish situation against Bitcoin. So your money would be better in XRP than it would be in Bitcoin. You see this with a lot of other charts like Ethereum, obviously, because they've made some really big moves of recent. But you have not seen that with XRP for a long time. So even going back on the 12 hourly, when was the last time we had anything that resembled this? And it goes all the way back to last year, the end of last year, where there was a little bit of a run going on there, but it didn't last. So again, we've got a nice cross here, so that could have continuation. It's quite steep, but we're coming down at the moment and hopefully bouncing on that centre of the Bollinger Band. It's not bounced yet though, but it is being supported there, which is good. If it breaks down from there, we will lose our sats, and this could break down. Even if XRP moves up in its dollar value, it could still break down the chart formation if Bitcoin rallies harder. So in a nutshell, there's nothing has changed for me. I still think that XRP and Bitcoin have a little further to move. I think that Bitcoin can break this trend line, and that would be good if it did. Breaking the trend line and coming down to test the trend line would be excellent. But again, it's this sandwiching effect that's happening at the moment, and the fact that it's happening on a weekend makes me a little nervous. So I'm happy to just sit back and play this, to let this one play out, and maybe go long in a second I see a closure above here with a short with a stop loss just below the trend line. That's how I'd look to play it. And obviously, as the trend line's moving up, if this continues, you can move your stop loss above the trend line, or just carrying on below the trend line, and actually make yourself constantly in profit. Even if the whole thing went pear-shaped, you would lock in a little bit of profit or not lose anything, which is that's the kind of trade you want to make. I'll leave it with you there. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a nice day, and take it easy.